Hey there, it's Anne Marie, aka Baldgirlwilltravel, and I was going to go live this evening to talk about travel, but I decided instead to make this video because right now I'm not emotionally up to a live where I talk about fanciful things and giggle and so on, because this is a kind of difficult time in my life. If you follow me as a friend on Facebook, or you're a member of my group that I set up for Black women over 40 who love and aspire to solo travel, you're already aware that in the last week, I lost my very best friend. And I'm not going to share her name because honestly, that's irrelevant to what I'm going to say. What I didn't share in the group is that in the last 7 days before this week, I not only lost my closest friend in the world, but I also lost my best friend from high school. She and I were best friends from the ages of about 14, 15 until about 18 to 21, where we kind of grew apart. But we stayed in touch over the years. We would talk, and she passed away on December 2nd. And then my closest friend in the world passed away on December 7th. And so it's been a very emotionally difficult period of time. But I just wanted to share some thoughts, and I'll get to how this is relevant to travel in a minute. But I wanted to share some thoughts, or I just want to share one word with you. We're near the end of the year, and it's a time when people make resolutions, they take stock of their lives, they make decisions about what they want to do to change their lives. If you know anything about me, you know that 3 years ago, I made the decision to get off the hamster wheel, to leave a job that I absolutely hated, that was discriminatory, hostile, and toxic for me, and to move abroad and start my own consulting business where I help other people get out of discriminatory, hostile workplaces. And I also am an avid traveler. I now have a travel company, and I do small group trips for Black women over 40 who love and aspire to solo travel. And if you've been following me for a while, you know that the way that I got to this point in my life of living a free life and living my life the way that I wanted is that I worked with a Black woman coach named Tawana Bagwat. And I've interviewed Tawana on my channel multiple times. I'll even put a link to one of our interviews in this video so that I can share her with you, because I think everyone should know a Tawana. And if they have the opportunity to work with her, you're a very lucky person. She's very busy right now. I don't know whether she's taking new clients or anything like that, but I love to say her name, and I love to tell people about her because she literally changed my life, and for the better. She didn't do it for me, but she helped me see that I could change my life, and that I was the one who had the power to do the pivots, make the pivots I needed to live the life that I wanted. But more importantly than Tawana was the person who introduced me to Tawana, who is and was my closest friend. We knew each other for almost 30 years, probably over 30 years actually. And we became extremely close friends over the last 4 to 5 years, especially in the last 3 years when I decided to move abroad. But she was the person when I was struggling in my workplace. She recommended that I work with Tawana. And in doing so, she literally is the person that changed my life. And I don't know that she ever recognized that it was her, but it was. And so she was the first person I ever saw that had created a life that they didn't need to have a vacation from, in sense of not liking what they did for a living. She worked for herself. She's the first person I ever saw as a Black woman who had her own business since we were young, in our 30s. She was a successful attorney. She had a practice that was thriving. All her clients spoke highly of her. I referred many people to her. And she was just an amazing attorney. One of the, if not the most brilliant mind I've ever encountered. And I have a pretty brilliant mind myself, but I always was in awe of her, her intellect. And she was the first person I would call if I had a question, if I needed advice, if I wanted to bounce something around. It was her. And the reason I'm not saying her name is that she was not a social media person. She didn't love social media. And even in her passing, I still want to respect that. But people who know me know very well. Many people who've met me in Mexico and elsewhere probably met me with her because we traveled together quite a bit. She loved to travel. She lived abroad for many years, and she loved traveling. Many of the places I've been, for example, Zanzibar, which I love, as you know, she told me to go to Zanzibar. She also had been to Egypt. She didn't love Egypt as much as I did, and we laughed about that. But she was very well traveled and had created a life for herself that she really loved. And she modeled for me, even before I realized that that it was possible to create a life that you really want and that you really love, and to live your life fully. And so the word that I want you guys to remember from this video more than anything else is to live. Live. It's important to not keep throwing things down, kicking the can down the road and thinking you're going to have more time to go on the trip, or to get out of the job that you hate and do something different. The problem is, as the saying goes, we think we have more time. And I am able to be at peace with her passing because, one, I know she lived her life fully the way that she wanted. And two, I know that I told her how much I loved her every chance that I could. Even before she was sick, I would tell her I loved her all the time because I felt that she needed to know how much she meant to me. And so I have a lot of peace in knowing that she knew how I felt about her, and she knew how much I loved her. And that when she left this world, she not only knew how much I loved her, but she knew how much so many of us who had the privilege of knowing her, she knew how much all of us loved her. But the thing that I want you guys to remember is, please do everything you have to do to live the life that you want now. Don't let anybody convince you that you have to wait, or that you need to wait till you're 70 or wait till your retirement age or any of those things. Make a decision now to figure out how to create a life that you don't need a vacation from. How to create a life where you feel free. How to create a life where you don't have to deal with other people treating you poorly when you go to work every day, or discriminating against you, or generally just bullying you and treating you like crap. And as Black women, we know exactly what that feels like and what that means. Figure out a way and make a decision, because that's key, to change your life. Nobody else is going to do it for you. Don't kick the can down the road. Choose to live a full life now. It's what I do every single day. I make that decision again every day that I wake up. And I'm really beseeching all of you who follow me, especially those of us who are over 40 and 50. Don't think that you have all the time in the world. The only regret I have about my best friend is that we talked a lot about going to South Africa together because she had once lived there, and about her coming with me to go to Tobago, which is where my parents are from and where my mother was born. And we never did it. We talked about it all the time. We went on other trips together, and we were actually planning to finally get to South Africa in March 2024. And now that's not going to happen. She's not going to go with me to South Africa because we waited too long and we ran out of time. And so what I'm saying to you is, if there's something you want to do, do it. If there's some place you want to go, go there. Don't let anybody convince you that you need to wait or that you can't do it. If there's a will, there is a way. Money should never be a reason why you don't do anything. Money comes and it goes. But the life that you want and the time that you have to do it is finite. We are all going to die. Nobody's making out of this Mickey flick alive. So for me, the key is to live the best life possible that you can while you're here. Some of you may be religious, some of you may not be, some of you believe whatever you believe about what's going to happen after you die. But I beseech you to also focus now on how you live, and make sure that you're living a full life, that you will be happy to know whenever you are coming to the end of your life, and however that happened, that you did as many things possible to live your life the way that you wanted. So in lieu of live this week, I just want to leave the words with you to please live. Live your life to the fullest. Do whatever that looks like to you, whether it's going on a trip with me, and this is not a commercial for that, going on a trip with me, or just getting on a plane and going wherever you want to go, whether you go with me, a group, or you go on your own. If you want to go travel, go do it. Stop waiting for somebody to give you permission and go do it. If you want to get out of your job, create a strategy and get out of it and go do something else that brings you joy. Life is extremely short. It feels long sometimes, but it's really short. And that's the one thing, not only that this has taught me, but that I realized, and that's what I realized when I decided that I was going to change my life, was that life is short and that the time to do what I wanted was immediately. Not in 5 years, not in 3 years, but immediately. And so I really hope that somebody that hears this uses this as the permission to do whatever it is, the thing that you've been thinking that you want to do and you've been putting off and saying, I got to do this and I got to do that and I got to do this first. Go do that thing, whatever it is, whether it's a trip, changing your job, finding another job, starting your own business, whatever it is. Go out there and live. This is Anne Marie, Baldgirlwilltravel. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.